Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is how to prepare for a trip. I'm going on a trip. I'm leaving Friday. This is Tuesday. I'm leaving on Friday, and I'm mostly ready for the trip. I'm mostly all set, and about a half a week from the trip, and I'm about ready. Everything is kind of done, and so I'm getting better and better at preparing for long trips over time. I've always been kind of ready to go. I have my NOAA clothes to bring, and depending on the weather and where I'm going, and have like a little toiletry kit already packed and ready at all times, so I can always get a phone call and be packed in 15 or 20 minutes and go if the situation arises. But this particular trip is overseas, so it's a 24-hour or nearly 24 hours to get there, and then a couple of weeks that I'll spend in a tropical climate. So that to me, that's more involved than just going somewhere local for the weekend. So what I did is, this is the same place went to last November, which is Thailand. And let's say I had such a great time my last trip to Thailand, which was my first trip to Thailand, that I kind of decided to go again right away this winter. And this trip is coming up. And so one of the things that I'd recommend you do is start making lists of where you'd like to go. That's one thing. Know where you want to go, and then start doing research on that place. Kind of get to know some of the basics, some of the things you might expect. Let's say how long it's going to take to get there. How do you get there? And how would you like to get there? And some of the major things you'd like to do once you're there. And if it's like a driving trip, what would be some of the things you could do along the way to make the drive even more enjoyable? And then start listing in your journal book. I like to carry a little small journal book with me all the time, like this. And then you can densely write your plans and thoughts in that little book. And that's and you keep it dense, and you keep it with you, so every time you have a thought, you can jot it down in that book. And that's all my thinking goes on those journal books. And of course, I've got a few dozen of them from the past, and now I just carry the current one with me. And in that book, I will put my preliminary plans. So let's say as soon as I got back from my last trip, I made notes of what would I like for the next time, what would make the trip easier, and then I would put together a preliminary ideas, right? What didn't I do on that trip that I'd like to do next time? What were the things that I should have thought of and brought? What were the things that are best gotten there? And like a preliminary packing list, preliminary ideas. And then at some point, in between that initial preliminary and the final leaving, you're going to have interim lists. So like my interim list was, what do I need to do to go to again? What are the big things that need to be done? Like, I have to book a flight, I have to book a hotel, I have to have a way to get from the airport to the hotel, that type of thing. How do I need my finances to go between now? How much money do I need? Do I got to pay off a bill or something? Or do I got to get cash or PIN numbers for my credit cards or whatever financially? What if there's something critical that's happening around the time that I plan on going? Well, it's setting aside the time at work, so I don't schedule something critical at work in the time I'm expecting to be gone. And then, is there anything critical that's happening at that time that I should try to do before or right after. And I make note of all that in that little journal book. And then I keep, let's say, I keep this trip idea continually kindled. Every week, spending a little time reviewing those lists, seeing if I can see if any of those are completed, see if I need to add to any one. And then as you get closer to the trip within the last few weeks, well, then you make your finalized lists. What am I going to put in my suitcase? What am I going to put in my backpack? What am I going to put in my fanny pack? What I'm going to wear? All of that, right? What do I need to buy yet to make the trip go smoothly? What do I already have that I want to make sure is ready? That. And this makes going on a trip very, very rewarding, because one, you're probably not going to you're going to have minimal problems if you do plenty of planning, and two, the anticipation of your trip, it just builds up to enormously, and you just can hardly wait to go. And it becomes, let's say, part of the trip is this preparation, and then of course the peak is when you get there and you spend the time, but then the planning for it is part of it and makes you feel really good. And then in addition to that, there'll be after the fact debriefing yourself of the trip. I put together a detailed, I have a vacation book, kind of a bigger scrapbook, if you might call it. It's a travel book. You can buy these, and it has little lines you can fill in, and then I tape or paste in brochures and interesting information, and give kind of a detailed write-up of synopsis of my trips. And I've had those for the last 10, 12, 14 years. So I'm on my second book, and I'm hoping to create more. And that is like an after, in the days after you come back, you spend some time reflecting on the trip, and then you have that. So I just pulled that out just recently to refresh my memory of what went on in my last trip, right? And that's a good tool for you for the next trip, because maybe the trip you took 10 years ago is similar to one you're planning now, right? And yeah, you can make these. To me, the traveling is one of the most important parts of my life. It's one of the things that I enjoy the most. So planning for it and reminiscing over them is something that I really enjoy, and I think you will too. So give that idea some thought. All for now.